My name is Don Fairbairn, and here at Gordon-Conwell, I teach the early church, or what we call the patristic period, which is the period of the first several centuries after the end of the New Testament. One thing that I think is really surprising to students about the patristic period, maybe the most important thing that's a big surprise, is how unified the early church was. Part of the reason that is surprising to people is because we live in an academic kind of culture that thrives on conflict, on diversity, on difference, and that likes to play up and to focus on differences. It is true that the early church had variety. It is true that the early church moved into very different cultures, and Christianity was established in diverse cultures. But in spite of those diverse cultures, what is most striking to me about the early church is how unified it was. Let me give you just two examples. The first is in worship style. In spite of the fact that Christianity went into very different regions of the world very quickly, very different cultural milieus and contexts very quickly, a fairly similar worship style, recognizably similar, developed all over the Christian world, all over the Eastern Hemisphere in the first several centuries. That worship style, that common worship style, was quite different from a lot of Protestant worship today. And so that unity provides a little bit of a challenge for us, something to think about. Should we take more seriously the way the early church worshiped? Let me give another example. We are often fond of thinking that Christian doctrinal development proceeded by clash and contrast, conflict. We talk about the Trinitarian controversy, the Christological controversy. We talk about them as if there was no consensus until finally something was worked out. But perhaps the most striking thing about the early church to me is that on the essentials of the faith, the understanding of God, of Christ, and of salvation, there was an extraordinary consensus, opposed by only a very small number of people whom the church labeled as heretics. That unity, that uniformity in Christian belief should be a great encouragement to us. So as we see here, in some cases, the unity of the early church is a challenge to Protestants because they had a similar worship practice, but we often don't today. On the other hand, the unity of the early church should be a great encouragement to us because on the most central affirmations of the Christian faith, there was a profoundly deep and broad consensus. That should encourage us because our faith is not something arbitrary. Our faith is not something that a few people simply decided this is what everybody should believe. But the church all over the known world very early developed a fairly similar, fairly consistent way of describing the Christian church. So it is the unity of the church, not the diversity, that I think is the great surprise and what we need to think about as we consider and study early Christianity. I look forward to the opportunity to study the early church, what we call the patristic church, with you in our classes at Gordon-Conwell. Thank you.